All right, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the People's Finds YouTube channel. Today, I wanted to get on here and have a little light discussion about my impressions on the Avengers beta, the closed beta that went live over the weekend for the Xbox One. I know that my good friends over at PlayStation already had a chance to play it last weekend, but this weekend I had a chance to mess with the closed beta, so I wanted to get on here and talk about what I thought. Well, first things first, I know today we had a nice good bit of information that jumped out. The data leak about potential and possible characters they're going to be adding to the game in the future. We already know about Spider-Man being exclusive to the PlayStation. I know my PlayStation people are very, very happy about that, and they've let me know their pleasure and my displeasure that I'm mainly an Xbox guy. I do have a PlayStation 4. I do plan on getting an Xbox and a PlayStation 5 when they come out later on this year, but I'm an Xbox guy. That's just where it is. That's where my friends are at, where my heart is at, so that's that on that. So going back to the game, the data leak that just hit a little while ago, actually a few hours ago at IGN, had some very interesting names on there. And while I bring that up, the game itself is pretty cool. The one thing that I would say that kind of troubles me about the game are the controls in a way. The controls feel good, but there's a lot of jank with the game. But the game is kind of all over the place. There's not a lot of weight behind some of the characters' actions, and most notably, the major character that has that problem is the Hulk. You would think a character like him that is so strong and so destructive and has such a good legacy in that franchise, he kind of feels all over the place. I feel like there's not a lot of weight behind some of his actions, especially when you're in the beginning of that skill tree. And I'll be getting into that a little bit later about how the skill trees, I think, are going to greatly affect how the game is played and how we all view the game. But, you know how some games have like a good hour or two to really catch you. And if it doesn't catch you in that first hour or two, you're kind of like, okay, I'll come back to this. I feel like this game might have that problem where the first few hours of that game, you think you're getting something, and when you play it, like, wait a minute, it feels a little bit off. But the more you play the game, the more you get used to the jankiness, I think you actually find a very rewarding experience. An experience that I actually enjoyed a lot over the weekend, but I'm kind of weird like that. I'm a big Marvel guy. I'm a big comic book guy. Let me stop lying, because I'm being 100% honest. It's DC Comics all day. But I love Marvel as well. They have the more interesting universe when it comes to individual characters. I kind of feel like DC has the better universe when it comes to their stories. But I think I'll make a more in-depth video later on this channel about my thoughts and feelings about that. So back to the game. We're looking at Captain America gameplay right now. You don't get to play with him a lot in the beta. You get like to play with him for this short little section that's like 5 minutes, 10 at most. And I'm stretching it if I'm saying 10 minutes. It's really like a 5-minute deal. His animations are great. His move sets and his moves they feel like they have some weight to them, as opposed to a character like the Hulk, which sounds kind of weird, but they do. It feels really good playing with him, even if it doesn't look good looking at him, because that character model still stands out as one of the worst character models I think I've seen in a video game in a long time. He looks very generic. He looks very run-of-the-mill. He looks very cosplay, and that might be an assault to some cosplayers, because I think he's really good cosplay in my day. I'm sure you have too on social media throughout the years. It's bad Captain America cosplay. That's like the best way to describe that character. So hopefully you get to play with him a little more in the game, because they don't really give you a big chunk of gameplay with him in the beta. But I'm hoping that you get to unlock some of his like better costumes, some of the old school costumes from the comic, maybe a couple from the movie. I think that would be pretty dope if you had some from the movie as well. Like the Winter Soldier outfit, that's like the best outfit for him. So hopefully they can do a little better with that, because the initial skin, nah, it's not happening. It's trash. As the kids say, cheeks. And I'll let you infer what that means or what that doesn't mean. So I want to go to the data leak real quick. If I can just figure this out, please bear with me, because this is the first time I've really went live and making a video like this. So when it comes to overlays and things like that, I'm still kind of learning on the fly. So I appreciate your patience. If you like what you see today, give me a follow, hit me up. I'm on all social media. I'm on Twitter at The People's Finds, as you see on the screen right now. I'm on YouTube live, as you see. And I do longer play sessions on Twitch. So like, subscribe, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. I really appreciate you. So let's go ahead and get back to what we have going on. So let's take a look. Something I hope we don't have to worry about with the next gen upgrade for this game for the Series X and the PS5. Like, just right into the scene, baby. I need the cutscene. I don't need your tips and tricks. So what we have here is the data leak that happened a few hours ago this morning. There are quite a few major characters in this. So we have 15 unannounced characters have reportedly been data mined through the Marvel's Avengers beta, including the likes of Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange, War Machine, and Marvel. So let's scroll down and take a look at the full list. So the first two names, Ant-Man and the Wasp. So as I'm going through this list, I think it'll be kind of cool to put some of my impressions with the beta on here while we talk about this stuff, because we have a very interesting problem. Not a very interesting problem, I say a very interesting situation when it comes to how the game is made. So you have status effects when it comes to some of the attacks. When I was playing as Iron Man, I had a pair of gauntlets that added pin particles to the attacks. So when you finish off a combo, you have a chance to shrink the character. So shrink the person that you're hitting and using your attacks on. So when you have a character like Ant-Man and Wasp, that might be something that you have built into the character. So you don't have to worry about, I'm just theorizing here, I'm just going off the top of the head, so don't mind me, I'm just talking my shit. I can theorize that that's something that's built into the characters. You don't have to equip a piece of equipment that gives you that ability. It's something that you have off top. And the game already shows in the beta that it does a pretty good job of resizing the characters during some of their special moves. For instance, Iron Man is a lot bigger when he calls down the Hulkbuster armor. Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, her body gets bigger as well as she does some of her special attacks. So I would imagine that the Ant-Man and Wasp would have something similar as well. As we go further down the list, we have the Vision. Going off the beta, I don't even think I can really theorize how Vision will play out. Like, he has such an interesting grouping of abilities and powers. Like, I'm not sure how that will really play out in the game. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with him when they reveal him. And you can't go wrong with Black Panther. Let's just go right here. Black Panther, come on now. Big Black Panther fan. He was a great character in MUA 3, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, with a Switch. So going further down, we have Doctor Strange, Falcon, Marvel. See, now that's going to be very interesting, because with Marvel, you have ties to Captain Marvel, which has ties to Miss Marvel, and how they're centering Miss Marvel as the central character of the game. Like, she's the vocal person, she's the point of view character, the POV character for people who might not know anything about the Avengers, which, I mean, the Avengers are only the most popular superhero property in all of the world, so I'm not sure who doesn't know anything about the Avengers right now. But it could be a cool tie into the comics. And you have a couple other characters on here that are not well-known characters in terms of the mainstream, but in terms of just comic book fans, hardcore comic book fans, you're going to see a lot of people that you recognize. So we have Falcon, Marvel, Mockingbird. Now that's a character that's a big association with the West Coast Avengers. And if you're playing through a beta, there's actually a little teaser about the West Coast Avengers in there, so that's cool. So we have Quake. So Quake is a very obscure character. From what I know of the character, she's an Inhuman, and a human like Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan, the POV character in the beta, and she's a major character in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. series that just concluded, that just actually recently had its series finale last week. Even though I need to get caught up on the last 2 seasons, I'm behind. It's a really good show. It's a show that didn't show very well when it first came on, and then the longer the show was on, it got better and better and better and better. So going further down the list, we have another fan favorite, the Winter Soldier. So I would imagine that he will play very similarly in a way to Cap, even though he doesn't have a shield. Then we have Scarlet Witch, Captain Marvel, Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, and War Machine. So Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, and War Machine, these are the last names for a reason, I would imagine, because there was a Datamine leak before this that had just those three characters mentioned. And I was talking to one of my friends when we were streaming the beta this weekend. My cousin Sylvie, shout out Sylvie, how you doing, bro? I was talking about that, and I was saying how disappointed I was to see Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, and War Machine, because they're basically will be reskins of characters that are already in the game or are going to eventually be in the game. Obviously, you have Hulk and you have War Machine, right? She-Hulk and War Machine will be the other characters or character skins for Iron Man and Hulk. So I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's like we already have versions of those characters. Where are the more unique playstyle characters? Because going back to my impressions of the beta, you have quite a few characters, pretty much all of them initially, that feel exactly the same when it comes to their movesets. Now, the longer that you upgrade your skill trees, they start to feel a little different and more fleshed out. So I can see that being something that's going to help out when you have more characters introduced. But the more I was thinking about it, this actually will be a very cool thing, because there's a bad thing that this game does that kind of irritates me, and I can imagine it irritating quite a few people, and that's being the fact that you can't have more than one of the same character playing. So it makes sense if you think about it and you say it out loud, right? Because you have a game like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, right? You can't just have 4 Captain Americas. So it makes sense that you can't have 4 Captain Americas or 4 Iron Mans in the Marvel's Avengers game, right? Okay. But the thing is, though, MUA3 has like damn near 50 characters. So it's very easy for you to, mix and match with different characters. You're not stuck with just a different playstyle. You have a wide variety of characters you can choose from. That's not the case with this game. When you start off, you have Captain America for like 5 minutes. You have Thor Odinson for like 10 minutes. Iron Man, Kamala, Black Widow, and Hulk. And even if you look at this list right here, I mean, it looks impressive in a way, but Kate Bishop is going to be another version of Hawkeye. They've already said that he's going to be the first post-launch character. She-Hulk is going to be another version of the Hulk. War Machine is going to be another version of Iron Man. So those characters are going to be cool. I'm really interested to see what the difference will be between the characters, because historically a character like War Machine is someone that is more of a brawn character, more of like, how can I say, if Iron Man is the scalpel, then War Machine is the hammer. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see how his special move varies from Iron Man's special moves. Iron Man's special attack is calling down the Hulkbuster armor. Okay, War Machine doesn't have that option, but he does have the option of maybe having all of his Gatling guns and missile launchers coming out and just going crazy. So that will be a good contrast to what Iron Man can do. So that will be very interesting to see how that plays out. But as always, when it comes to Datamine stuff, you have to take some of this stuff with a grain of salt, because some of these characters might just pop in the game just for cutscenes. Like, we don't know if they're going to actually be playable characters. So it's going to be interesting to find out what plays out with that. And further down the post, IGN didn't really say anything too much that we already didn't know. They did mention, though, the challenge cards, which are essentially in-game battle passes for each of the characters. It kind of shows how you rank up and unlock other character skins and other abilities and nameplates and the such. That might be a clue that all the characters in the Datamine leak are actually real characters. We're not just talking about stand-ins, because they go out of their way to say Ant-Man, right? They didn't say which Ant-Man. They didn't say Scott Lang or Hank Pym. As I looked at the beta, Hank Pym seems like a character that will eventually in the game give you missions. So if he's in the game giving you missions, Scott Lang should be the character that you play as. But it's just a guess right now. So there's that. That's pretty much all I really have. I mean, I could go deeper into the beta impressions, but I feel like I'm going to have like a separate video for that. This video was just because we've had breaking news about what's going on with everything we have going on with the Datamine leaked data. The Datamine. I don't know why I'm saying it like Terrence Howard. Datamine, the Datamine leak that we just had. So, as you see in this footage, in the very poorly lit footage, actually, you know what? I'm not going to explain that. We're just going to move that down here. We're going to act like that doesn't happen. I'm just going to get rid of that. supposedly this was only supposed to start at 9 p.m. But this is still me like wrapping things up. Please, if you have any questions or comments, go ahead and hit the super chat. Go ahead and give me your impressions of what you think of this video, constructive feedback and as such. I just kind of threw it out there so I can imagine what the feedback is going to be. So until then, please don't forget to follow me here on YouTube. I stream on Twitch. I'm also on Facebook Gaming as well sometimes, but if you really want to get updates about what I have going on with my various channels, it's all about Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Thanks, guys. See you later. Kamala Khan. There he is. Oh my God. That has to be the worst version of Captain America I've ever seen in my life. Like Crystal Dynamics, whoever made that character model needs to get slapped in the face. Seriously.